This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple's working to get office workers vaccinated. We're still looking at spring-loaded aftermath. And Spotify Podcasts answers Apple Podcast moves. It's Monday, the 26th of April, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more at upstart.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Apple workers may soon be able to get COVID-19 vaccines at Apple's own offices. iDownload blog highlights a Bloomberg report that says the company is working with Walgreens to put shots in arms in the workplace, at least in offices in California. You may remember reports of Apple telling employees in late March that they could have paid time off to get the shot. Apple was also said to be offering paid time off to recover should the shot knock them sideways for a day or two. While Amazon, some hotel chains, and some airlines had arranged to vaccinate at least some of their employees, Apple was leaving it to workers to find and arrange for vaccinations on their own. Sometimes being in California has perks. Quoting the latest Bloomberg report, Apple is working with Walgreens Boots Alliance to give workers the shots at Apple offices. The Cupertino, California-based technology giant is rolling out a website for staff to sign up for appointments. The company previously told staff that, as a private company, it didn't have access to COVID-19 vaccines for staff members. However, vaccine availability in California has expanded considerably, and all residents in the state are now eligible to receive shots. At the rate we're going, we may be uncovering stuff missed at Apple's most recent product event, right up until Apple's next product event. A warning, by the way, this one is ugly. MacRumors says the new 12.9-inch iPad Pro announced at the spring-loaded event is not compatible with previous versions of the Magic Keyboard. Before it was announced, I feel like there was a rumor that the new iPad Pro would be a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker. Of course, it was a rumor about an unannounced product, so I did my best to ignore it. Upon its release, we find the M1 12.9-inch iPad Pro is 0.5 millimeter thicker. Doesn't seem like much, is in fact not much, though MacRumors says it is enough for the new iPad Pro not to close properly when put with an older generation keyboard. Of course, you can buy a new keyboard, which probably won't please people who bought the old one because they already bought the old one. MacRumors points out that the new 11-inch iPad Pro remains compatible with previous generation Magic Keyboards. Pre-orders for AirTag started on Friday. By Saturday night, they were already playing hard to get, especially if you wanted them personalized. Actually, a piece from MacRumors says that started on Friday. When that site checked Friday, a single AirTag, no engraving, shipped between the 3rd of May and the 5th of May, lagging the 30th of April release date by a few days. At that time, a 4-pack still shipped on the 30th of April, but the times have changed, literally and figuratively. I ran my own check about a day and a half later. Checking a 4-pack on Saturday night, buying them plain meant I could still have them delivered between the 4th of May and the 6th of May. I was also offered in-store pickup on the 30th of April at a nearby store, though not the nearest. Trying to buy a single AirTag yielded the same results. Again, if you were cool getting them plain. Add engraving though, and that added over a month. One emoji on each medallion moved my ship date to the 9th of June to the 16th of June for both the single and the 4-pack. It's cool. I'm not getting any right now anyway because I don't take much with me to the grocery store, which is still pretty much the only place I go. Now, just for fun, I also ran a check for the purple iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini. did my usual non-scientific, non-exhaustive thing of picking the ones that I would want. That was the unlocked 128 gigabyte for both. As of Saturday night, both could still be mine on Friday, the 30th of April, either picking them up at the store or having them shipped to my door. Not planning on getting one of those either, but I don't mind telling you, I would make one look really good. A bit of a correction from last week's stories on AirTag accessories. I pointed out on last week's episode of The Checklist by Secure Mac the incredible range of prices for such accessories. I started with the loops and key rings Apple's making itself. Those run a relatively reasonable $29 to $39. On that show, I pointed to a CNET piece that focused on what I thought was the high end of such accessory offerings. The tech site called out an Hermès AirTag luggage tag retailing for $449. But wait, there's at least one more, and you can spend a lot more for it. According to a piece from iMore, Hermès is now offering a $699 travel tag for your new AirTag. As the site put it, Hermès is unapologetically going for it. With OS updates expected this week, an anticipated service may go live. MacRumors says the native rating system planned for Apple Maps may go live over the next few days. Currently, Apple relies on third-party services like Yelp or TripAdvisor for location photos and informal user ratings. When the native system goes live, users will have the option of rating places they've physically been in Apple Maps with a thumbs up or thumbs down. That'll be true not just for the location as a whole, but also for specific subcategories according to the report. Additionally, users will be able to add photos to maps, similar to other services. MacRumors says the rollout has been spotty in the UK and Australia. It's been non-existent here in the States, though that may change this week. According to the piece, an eagle-eyed Redditor noticed something during last week's Spring Loaded event. During the iMac announcement, the piece says Apple showed a macOS desktop screen with the Maps app open and a thumbs up, thumbs down recommendation option for Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California. Interestingly, that option appears to have appeared in tandem with the Yelp reviews, not in place of. MacRumors does point out that art that flashed briefly during the presentation doesn't guarantee the new features rolling out this week, but they do see it as likely. More news in a moment, but first a word from Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Paying off debt can feel like an uphill battle. High interest rates plus minimum monthly payments keep people in an endless cycle of debt. Upstart can help. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment. Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, factoring in income and employment history. That lets them offer smarter rates with trusted partners. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans between $1,000 and $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macOSken. UPSTART, that's upstart.com/macOSken. Don't forget to use that URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/macOSken. Another lawsuit over fitness features in Apple Watch. I told you last week of legal action from AliveCore that had the maker of consumer ECG products trying to block the import of Apple Watch Series 4 and 5 in the US as it sues over patent infringement tied to the ECG functionality in Apple Watch. One assumes that Apple Watch Series 6 will be added to that mix, since it also does the thing over which Apple is being sued. Now a piece from Apple Insider says the non-practicing entity Logan Tree is suing Apple over the watch's ability to monitor fitness. Logan Tree says functions in Apple Watch violate its patent, training and safety device, system and method to aid in proper movement during physical activity. According to the complaint, according to the report, the patent covers a portable self-contained device for monitoring movement of body parts during physical activity. It comprises a movement sensor, a power source, and a microprocessor. Other portions of the patent cover the analysis of data and storing information in memory. It also outlines key components of the device, including a real-time clock and a user input system. Okay, that does sound like an Apple Watch and several other devices on the market. Logan Tree says it got in touch with Apple in 2017, notifying the Cupertino company of the perceived patent infringement. Apple denied the claim, so plaintiffs have tacked willful infringement to the list of allegations. They're looking for damages, attorney's fees, and other costs, according to Apple Insider. Notably, the piece points out, Logan Tree does not ask for an order barring Apple from continuing the alleged infringement. Want to help build health-focused tech of tomorrow? Then Apple has a job for you. Or a job for which you can apply. Another piece from Apple Insider says the Cupertino company is looking for a clinical producer in the health department. According to the piece, the individual will guide overall development of health products in collaboration with cross-functional teams. Working with clinicians, they will also identify key areas of focus with consideration for Apple's products, technologies, and potential for customer impact. What, like how well they take a punch? The piece goes on to say the candidate would have to shepherd end-to-end development from concept to launch for Apple's health products, including working with design, engineering, and regulatory teams to define features, the user experience, and product requirements. While this part is not listed as a job requirement, if you could also design stuff over which Apple won't be sued, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And finally today, Spotify is losing no time answering changes to Apple Podcasts. At last week's Spring Loaded event, Apple announced a plan to let podcast producers charge for subscriptions to shows. As is the company's way, it does plan to take commissions. Those will match other subscription offerings, with Apple taking 30% for the first year and then 15% for each additional year an individual subscription is maintained. Now Spotify says podcasters can keep the money. All of it. Variety ran a piece last week that has the streaming music juggernaut and relatively recent podcast player announcing a move similar to Apple's, though no commission will be collected. According to Variety, this week, Spotify will launch its podcast subscription option for partners, but the company will be letting content creators keep 100% of the subscription fees. Spotify will not take a cut of podcast subscription revenue, sources confirmed. It's unclear exactly how this will work. You know, how podcasters can join, how people will pay, all that stuff. If they're really announcing this week, though, one assumes we'll hear more this week. Coming up in a few minutes, it is a full week with podcast pioneer Adam Christensen. Oh yeah, I said it, he's a pioneer. We're talking Spring Loaded, Apple services, the new podcast push from Apple. We'll start the week with something that's on the MacCast host's mind, because on Monday, it's news to Adam. The show is called In a Few Minutes. Find it and follow it wherever you find and follow podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more at upstart.com/macOSCan. This show is also supported by people like you. patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Cha.